Welcome to the Hot Break Beer and Brewing Podcast, your go-to pint of beer wisdom, wit, and wonder. I'm your host, Ben Holm, joined by the legendary Andrew Ziegler, where every week we tap into the frothy world of brewing. From the malty depths of the darkest stouts to the hoppiest heights of IPAs, we've got your brew news covered.
So expect the unexpected as we bring you exclusive interviews with brewing pioneers, side-splitting tales from behind the bar, and answers to your most frequent fermented questions.
So pull up a stool, pour yourself a cold one, and let's get the kegs rolling. It's always Beer 30 on the Hot Break. In the home brewing system, one question is asked more than any other. In Burlington, the dedicated brewers who answer this question are members of an elite squad known as the Special Brewers Unit. These are their stories.
Mazda Man, why homebrew your own beer?
Bogeys suck.
Are you talking about golf?
Golf? No, I'm talking about the kind of beer you drink off the cart at the 19th hole. Homebrew, because birdie juice can be brewed. Trust Northwest Brewers Supply to help make every brew a hole-in-one.
Welcome back to the Heartbreak, folks. I'm Ben. And with me is Andrew. You're here on another show. It's a Wednesday night, right here in the studio as of this broadcast. I think that's what time we're gonna mash the go button on this. Isn't that right, buddy? We're going Wednesdays.
We go on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, all right.
We going live Wednesday.
Oh, live show. Yeah, that'll be. We'll get to a live show.
We'll get to
a live show. We'll get to a live show first. So Andrew, my first question for you today is, do you know when a certain Bavarian beer purity law was ratified?
I might, but I'm a little dyslexic sometimes. So it might be 1516.
Very good. And did you know when homebrewing became legalized?
Homebrewing became legalized in Washington State?
Let's say federally.
Federally, no, I don't.
1976. But my final question for you, do you know what time it is?
It's beer time.
It's Beer 30.
Beer 30.
It's Beer 30 here on the Hot Break. I got something special for you today, my friend. Do you recognize this particular chalice? It's got a particular set of names on it. Some infamous individuals.
There we go.
I
didn't look at it yet.
You ready?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, this is the stainless kettle. This is our Stanley Cup for our homebrew club, sort of a perpetual trophy.
Yeah, let me read those names.
Yeah, go for it, and then pour the beer, man.
Right. The very first name on here from 2011 is James Martini.
Oh, I missed James.
What a good brewer he is.
Oh yeah, miss that guy.
Yep. And then the next one we have, 2012 is Mark Holland.
Oh yeah, talked to Mark the other day.
I just saw him at the Fairhaven.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, him and Mindy. Then in 2013, Andrew Ziegler. That's me.
I know that guy.
Yep. And I shared it that year with Mark Holland. And I'm gonna give you one caveat about that whole thing, folks. Never ever vote for anybody else but yourself, because I lost by one vote. If I would have voted for myself, I would have won. And my name would have been only one on it. That's great. But check this out.
I say toot your own horn, because 7 billion people on the planet is not enough to do it for you.
That's right. And it mattered that day. It mattered. One vote mattered, and it was mine. But I gave my credit to where I believed it deserved, and that was Jonathan. I gave it to Jonathan's beer.
Oh, yeah.
Because I believed his was the best. But... yeah, anyways, 2014, here we go. Mr. Ben Holm.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Took home the crown on a total accident.
And he repeats it again in the next year, 2015. Ben Holm.
That's right.
Nice job. Good job, back to back.
Definitely.
Man, that's great. Mark Holland did the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we retired that. It's time to open that bad boy up and see what we're drinking today.
Right. Then we got 2016 was Tony Stevens.
Oh, Tony ran away to Arizona.
Yep,
along with James Martini.
And took James with him.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Oh, we're back after those technical
A
difficulties.
little bit of technical difficulties pouring beer.
But we got beer poured down, so that's got to be pretty good.
That's excellent.
Oh, yeah. Where's the lid? Gotta close it up and keep all the goodness in.
That's right. I got a couple more names to read off.
Oh, yeah.
Sip this beer for a minute. Cheers.
Buddy.
Happy Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
That's good.
That'll do.
That'll do big. All right. So we were at 2017 with James Martini again. Pretty good.
Yeah,
2018, Dan Seaton.
I remember that.
And 2019 was a no-show COVID year.
Pubkiss. That was the Pubkiss year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan would get to keep the trophy there for 2 years. They became quite attached.
Yeah.
When he had to give it up to who did he have to give it up to that next year?
2020, Ben Home.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, that's why it's sitting here now.
That's right. That's right. We got it, and it's been retired, so it's forever mine. Haha, Dan. We are drinking an Oktoberfest, my friend.
It forever belongs to the winner.
That's right. How you like that Oktoberfest?
It's good. It's got a little sweetness to it, which I like.
Yeah. But it gets out of the way. I like a little sweetness to say hello.
Hello to
and
some
then
malt.
get out of the way so I can drink some more.
Yep.
I don't want it too sweet.
Washes down good.
Yeah. I figured this week we would talk about fall beers. I mean, it is finally, it is actually getting colder out there. I had to wear a coat the other day. I've had to wear socks for 30 more days than
October
I planned on.
2nd, and it's already
October.
cold.
And I'm cold, and I don't want to pay for the heat yet, so I'm just going to be cold for another 30 days.
Just gonna wear a hoodie.
Yeah, just wear a hoodie, 3 flannels, 4 pairs of wool socks. It'll be fine. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. But
And plenty of Oktoberfest beer.
plenty of opportunities to drink Oktoberfest.
Keep your belly warm.
Yeah, I do like. It is the kind of beer I definitely want to drink more of in any time of the year, really.
Yeah.
It's a great beer. Great beer in the fall, though. I do love it. And yeah, that's because the Oktoberfest Festival is currently happening right now in Munich, and probably a few other places we can talk about later on tonight. But yeah, what else do you like to drink during the fall, buddy?
How about a Zwickel?
A Zwickel?
A Zwickel.
Remind me on that one. That
We were
is
talking about that beer today. It's a light. It's like a light, hazy lager. It's Zwickel.
hazy lager. See, it's been done before. It's all been done before. It's nothing new.
It became popular at the Oktoberfest in Leavenworth probably 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think I'd seen it before that. So maybe they weren't
Cloudy
importing
like
it.
Was it cloudy like a wheat beer kind of cloudy?
Not so cloudy.
Not so cloudy.
No, but just a hazy lager. Hazy, nice lager. And it was definitely crushable.
So like clean fermented, like crushable, like noble hops. Just drink more of it.
Yep. So good.
I do like beer flavored beer.
Beer flavored beer.
Beer flavored beer is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so we were talking about the. You started talking about the purity law.
That's always a fun little beer nerd topic, is that 1516 Bavarian beer purity law. Yeah, Reinheitsgebot.
Yes.
If you want to say that, do not ask me to spell it. I'll murder it. I'll destroy it. It will not come out good.
Right.
But it's got an R in it. So there you go.
Skaboots.
Yeah. But yeah, Reinheitsgebot. It was a 1516 law dictating that beer shall be made with barley, water, and hops only. Period.
Yep.
Malt, water, and hops.
And the special paddle.
Yeah, and the special, but yeah,
they didn't understand yeast.
Yeast was not included
was not
for
discovered.
a while. For a while before that.
Until Louis came along.
Yeah. So that whole purity, I have a lot of interesting theories, and we're probably going to do a show on that one of these days. But I have some interesting sidelines for history. Like, I don't know about this purity law. There's definitely some adherents to it still who tout it as this great big thing. I don't think it was ever that big. One of the reasons they broke their own rules 4 years later and invented the Hefeweizen. Hefeweizen. It's a wheat beer. It's not Reinheitsgebot but friendly. But the first one was 4 years after, so 1520. First Hefeweizen in Munich, and it was A-OK.
Okay, so why didn't it adhere?
Oh, because the prince liked it, so I was going to give it an exception. It's going to give it a hard pass on that. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's tasty beer, so I like it.
He changed it from barley to, say, cereal grains.
yeah. Something like, we'll just sweep that under the rug. It's fine. Has nothing to do with purity, nothing at all.
All right, we got to take a break here, folks. It's been a while. We'll be back in a minute. Enjoy this. This is. You need to talk a little bit on this.
We're gonna go pay some bills. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna talk about some more fall beers while we finish this Oktoberfest.
Paying bills.
In the craft beer system, the people are served by two equally important groups: the brewers who make the beer and the bartenders who serve the pints. These are their stories, presented by Northwest Brewers Supply. A man steps out of a well-used Mazda pickup with a homebrewed bottle of red wine. The voice of an "I am a Walla Walla red wine woman" fills the air. A smile appears on the man's face as he realizes he's one step closer to his own Walla Walla red wine woman. Whoa, man. All thanks to Northwest Brewers Supply.
Welcome back to the hot break. We're still in beer 30. Beer 30 is going to take as long as it takes, but today we're talking about fall beers. Best ones, or our favorite ones, or what you could be drinking right about now. And now that it's October, it's bound to come up at some point that somebody's going to ask about pumpkin beers.
Ooh.
Oh, salacious topics. Pumpkin beers.
People don't like pumpkin beers.
Some people do.
Or they love them.
Yeah. I am if you can't tell, I am in the camp that thinks they are silly.
They're horrible?
They're horrible.
Now, are you considering a spiced beer a pumpkin beer? Or, because I used to make you could call it like a gourd beer. Well, I made it from pumpkins. But
Right.
You can taste that raw pumpkin in them without the coriander. I didn't put the coriander, the cinnamon, nutmeg in there.
I will say I do not like either one of those by and large.
So I only made one batch a year.
Yeah, and that's probably one too many, I think. I have not had one that...
and I've had bottles that said, 2016.
Yeah, you get...
2011.
Weird, you can't even get someone to come over and do a vertical tasting of those ones. That's shocking.
I know.
No, I'm not a big fan. The first one I ever had, I bought it for the bottle. It was in a 1 liter flip top. I thought, I have to have that. It's free beer with it, right? And I poured this pumpkin beer out, and I fucking hated it. I hated it immediately. But I had a liter of this stuff, and it was 9%. Woo. By the time I got to the bottom,
it tastes good.
It was better, and I was wasted.
Yep.
Yeah. But I still don't like the beers. I like pumpkin pie, and sweet potato pie, and those sorts of.
But
it's a perfect day. I just don't know if I want it in my beer.
Right. And I think a lot of the pumpkin beers are just more of a spiced.
Yeah.
More of a spiced beer.
You get those the cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg.
It takes a lot of pumpkins. It takes a lot of pumpkins.
Yeah.
I think I used to do 8. I mean, like just.
That is a ton of pumpkin.
Sized pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would cut them up. I would put them in the oven and candy them. Roast them on top. And then scoop them into gallon bags.
So that's like work. Why don't you just eat them? That sounds delicious. Like that. I don't know why you need to waste it into your beer. Other fall beers that are real popular. We get into like porters and stouts. Definitely pick up around the shop. People are brewing those more often. Something about the dark beers.
Yeah.
Being
Getting into winter.
yeah, as it gets colder, a dark beer sounds more appropriate.
Yeah.
And for years I sort of got that too. That was I didn't want to drink a stout in the summertime. Until recently.
Yeah.
I did make a stout. I did make a stout, completely reorganized my brain about the beer. I could drink that every day, all year round.
Well, what was different?
It was definitely a dry finish. The roast level was just perfect, like bittersweet chocolate note, real like lightly chocolate note. It just went down real easy. It was saying hello in your mouth just the right way and getting out of the way.
What yeast do you use?
It was 1084 Y yeast 1084 Irish ale strain.
Okay.
It's gonna be a workhorse for that style of beer.
Yep. That's what I used to use.
Yeah, so throw some of that at it. It was pretty good.
Right on.
It was inspired by Jamil Zainashev's classic styles, his dry Irish stout. I monkeyed with the gravity a little bit.
Yeah. So what was the gravity? Lower or higher?
I think I went a little lower.
Yeah.
I did. What his was a. Kind of an American. I think it was a little stronger than.
Now,
what
what about the body? Did you make the body?
The body I kept alone. I gave myself a little bit of insurance and put some British chocolate malt in it, like a quarter pound, from the recipe, and I think it made it. I felt more confident about it. It's one of these, like, with the pounder roast being the only dark malt in there. I think it was a little tough. It was a little harder to get it as inky black as you'd want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just single mash.
Yeah, single infusion mash. But I did pulverize. I ground that roasted malt in with my coffee grinder.
Ooh.
It was really fine.
Yeah.
So all the extraction on that
had really good flavor.
What a mess! Like the mash tun looked terrible.
Stouts are messy. I've made a big mess with a stout, like coming off the pump or something, and just oh my gosh, just all over your face.
Annette, you're not. I mean, if my mother-in-law listens, like Annette, you got to turn the volume down here real quick. If my mother-in-law is, ever bothers to stick her head underneath the cabinetry at her first house, she is going to quickly understand the amazing staining properties of chocolate malt. My brother-in-law, his batch blew up under that cabinet and painted the underside of it black. Fortunately, it was corralled to the little cabinet in there, but oh boy.
I had one blow up.
He says sorry, Annette, but
I had one blow up in my closet.
Yeah.
And it was like a 4x4 closet with a door, and just like 2 feet of clothes on this side, 2 feet of clothes on that side, and that's it. I mean.
So everything looks like beer now, huh?
It was perfect. Yeah. And it was great for kept temperatures. Good. Put my towel on it, and the airlock got a dry hop.
Yeah, clogged it.
I think I threw hops in there or something.
It's a good way to get divorced when it's in the linen closet.
It wasn't hers. It was my closet.
Thank God.
I know, she would have been upset.
Oh, that's
Oh my God, there was trube everywhere, just that Croizon trube.
Another homebrewer dead lady. That is his spouse kills him for ruining the linens. Yeah.
She told me she heard it. And she goes, "I'm not going in there."
That's horror show in there.
I'm like, oh
God.
no.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is my beer ruined? I don't think it was.
No, beer's pretty forgiving stuff. You got to go out of your way, I think, a lot to mess up too bad. And what are your other favorites during the fall?
Other favorites during the fall? Oh. I'll have a Scotch ale once in a while.
Oh, big strong Scotch ale.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cold, it's got to be cold when you drink that.
Yeah, it's a rich beer, strong
malty,
and rich. Yeah.
Sometimes pretty high in alcohol.
That's a good beer.
Yeah,
it's a really good beer.
Yep. Other than that, IPAs.
What about those fresh hop ones? It's that time of year.
Oh yeah, fresh hop. So I was almost thinking the fresh hop season was over, because it's usually right before Oktoberfest.
Right. So yeah, it kind of depends on the variety,
Yeah.
I'm still getting a lot of questions, but some people are using like dried versions of their homegrown. So we're going to talk about it. You know, we missed our broadcast but next week's episode we're going to talk about fresh hop beers and what you could have done or what you should be doing next year.
Save that for next week.
Yeah, next week we'll have it in the can. We'll rebroadcast it next year. Fresh hop beers. No, fresh hop beers are fun. I actually did the first one this year.
Now, do you do a fresh hop or do you a wet hop?
I did a wet hop beer for the first time.
A wet hop is where you put it into the mash kettle, right?
Is that? I don't know about that. I just figured it was undried hops. I mean, fresh and wet, kind of same thing.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, but if you're using homegrown and you're drying them, it's probably not a fresh hop anymore. And that's where I always think of things, is like you haven't dried the hops yet. It's right off the vine. Right off the vine and going into the kettle.
In the kettle.
Yeah. If you do them in the mash, I mean, you could do them in the mash. That's like a mash hopping, wet mash hopping.
Yeah.
But then you can't give it to the dogs. You can't make cookies out of those spent grains with that, because hops are poison for doggos.
Yes.
It's terrible. I didn't know that. Didn't know that till recently.
They can drink beer, but yeah, it'll make them fat too.
Yeah, I think so. I think it really upsets their Gullivers.
Yeah, they don't. They won't eat it. I have a pretty big hop bush because I don't string it up.
Oh yeah, it's just gonna be a pile of hops there.
Yeah, it just grows over a hydrangea or something, and the dogs leave it alone. They don't touch it. But we'll talk about hops next week.
Yeah, don't spoil the show.
Yeah, don't spoil the show. I mean, I love a good Oktoberfest, and I'll usually try to get a few different Oktoberfests around when I go out. Mm-hmm. Look for some different
little variation.
Some local ones. Yeah. I always punish myself and drink the Sam Adams at least once. I mean,
Boston Lager one, they do a pretty good job.
It's okay.
It'll do the job.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite.
Anything else? Yeah. I don't have anything else. So that's
Chuckanut's got a really good one.
Yeah,
this is like a version of the Oktoberfest kit at Northwest Brewer Supply. Yeah. Nice. This one I got to brew with. It was Pilot malt, but it was Pilot, and that's the same species of seed stock that Skagit Valley Malting was using before they shit the bed.
Yep. That's one of my favorites.
It was a cool, so Mike Noreen at Lopez Brewing Company grew this on his property, and originally Skagit Valley Malting was supposed to malt it for him as an estate grown. Unfortunately, they are no more. And so he was able to get Link Malting out of Spokane to do it, and ship it over, and they'll ship it back to him.
Right.
So he got it malted, and he shared a bag with me, so I played with it a couple times now. We both did a Kolsch with it. My Oktoberfest. I think I've got 10 pounds left or something to do something fun with.
Nice.
Did a pale ale, I think, so with some of it. Yeah.
The malt.
Fun, great little malt.
I wonder how they malted it, whether it's machine or floor.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't get too much details on that. I think Mike was definitely scrambling to find somebody to do something with it.
We'll have a good show on some malt.
Yeah.
Pretty soon. Pretty quick. Pretty soon.
For several. My deep dive on
there's a lot
base malts one day, and then something else on another day.
A lot to talk about.
When we get back, we're going to continue the conversation on Oktoberfest, and kind of break down the history of the festival and the beer that shares its name. So come on back. We'll be back in a minute.
All right, folks. Thank you.
Tangent. Vacation's over, and from now on, you will brew when you please, and the first and last words out of your little brewer's mouth will be, I need a beer. Capiche?
Sir, yes, sir.
If you ladies leave my store, if you survive my special brewers unit training, you will be a home brewer. You will be a minister of beer, ever praying for more beer. Do I make myself clear?
Sir, yes, sir.
Learn to brew with Northwest Brewer Supply. Classes are available today at NW.
All right. Back with you on the hot break. Thank you for coming back and talking about Oktoberfest with us. As you know, as of this recording, Oktoberfest is in its final week. And with an average attendance of over 6 million visitors in a 3-week period, we thought it would be a good idea to share some of the information on not only the festival, but the beer that shares its name. Yeah.
The festival the Oktoberfest festival got started as a wedding celebration. And imagine throwing a wedding and inviting the entire city for like multiple days. Free food, drinks, cultural exhibitions, games, even horse racing. For the entire city.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere, yeah. The atmosphere was probably a lot like the state fair. And you can imagine that at 1810, it would still be expensive to host something of that scale. So who can afford that? Royalty, of course. It was a wedding celebration for Prince Ludwig and Therese of Saxony-Hildburghausen, and I am going to butcher every German name in here, I'm sure, and I apologize for that.
Hildburghausen.
Hildburghausen, yeah. That's what he said. The festival starts at noon on the third Saturday of September. That's right. Most of this thing is not even in October. It's in September.
Yeah.
Opening day, some people will arrive on the meadow as early as 7 a.m., stand in line for their favorite beer tent till 9, and rush in and find a table where they're going to sit for another 3 hours.
Oh, I was going to say for another day.
Yeah, right. Like, it's not like a Zeppelin tour on sale again, so that would be ledge. Yeah, sit there till noon when the mayor is finally going to tap the first beer with a cry, "Oh, Zapfetis," which means it is tapped. And that would be the official kickoff for Oktoberfest, and I missed it again. I didn't make it over there. It's definitely on the list.
Is tapped.
Yep.
Old Zapt.
What Zapfet is.
Old Zapt is. I've never been over there.
It's on the list for sure.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list for sure. For sure. Gosh. Even today, the entrance to the festival is free, but the beer isn't. And I don't know how much the beer costs, but if it's anything like going to a football game these days, bring some money with you when you go to Germany.
I don't think anything's cheap anymore.
Yeah. Well, and you need to make table reservations early. And I've heard that, I heard these tables just fill up. Yeah. So I'm going to have to find out if you have to make reservations everywhere. Because I'd hate to get there and then...
Yeah, your hotel's going to be booked earlier. You got to, all sorts of things. I think, you remember Andy Veals from the club. His wife was a German teacher and went over every other year to Munich, not necessarily to
drink beer.
To drink beer with the high school students, but definitely went to Munich. And she had several tips in fact, I got some of these from old notes from old conversations I had with her.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, from back in the day.
Right. Well, okay. I'm just waiting.
I hear other voices saying, "Can you hear me?"
Bye. All right. Well. All right.
And pick it up with "It's a good idea."
It's a good idea to do your homework before you head over there, because it's a common scam to sell tourists event tickets and beer coupons. The festival's free, and the coupons are only available when you make a table reservation.
Oh, there's 6 million people. It's gonna be scam city if you're not careful.
Yeah,
I bet.
And they're probably good at it.
Lots of practice.
So a couple of myths. It takes place in October, and it is called Oktoberfest, but it's called Oktoberfest with a K.
Right.
So we can get away with it, right?
Yeah. It starts in September, finishes in October. It is kind of like the end of the beer festival season in Germany. And here's another myth. The chicken dance, not traditional.
No way.
No,
No.
that is not.
No
not,
way.
Not a thing
That's
to
my
do in
favorite.
Munich.
That is
It
my favorite thing. You don't do that.
You
in
don't do that in Munich. That is so I don't know what some Americans started this. Clearly, an American started this one, and it's not. They don't do the chicken dance. Over there. No, that's nothing. That's not a thing. Yeah, so American. There he goes. He's doing the chicken dance. You're lucky we don't have a video camera here in the studio yet. It's ridiculous looking. With the shake. Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Cut that for time. You know what they also don't have is costume contests.
No costumes. Well, because lederhosen aren't costumes.
That's not exactly right. That's exactly right. It is culturally appropriate attire, not to be made fun of.
That's what they wear.
That's right. It's like like what you wear to a wedding.
Right.
Like,
so that's like the Germans. The Germans over there wearing a hoodie. Oh, you're wearing an American costume.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. To your funeral.
How
They'd
rude.
wear something stupid like that.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a fun one. I've never seen this one over here, but apparently there's some places they do wiener dog races.
Yeah.
Not in Germany.
Not in Germany.
Not a thing. So Americanized.
Wiener
Pretty
dogs.
sad. Pretty sad.
Well, another one is that drinking beer is the only thing to do. There's over 80 rides, amazing food, culture displays, and it's considered a family event. Family festival. Family festival. I mean, we want the kids to get there and enjoy all these things.
Well, the drinking age is pretty lax over in Europe too. So I have pictures of my two little brothers, the youngest of my brother-in-laws, both of them in Germany with liters of beer bigger than their heads and grins bigger than their beers. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
They slept real good apparently that day.
Have a really low ABV beer.
Well, the beer of Oktoberfest is usually about 6%.
Yeah.
It's a
Give that
stout
to a
one.
young person.
Like a liter of it. Things to do
folks.
and things not to do at Oktoberfest, folks. We talked about the fake dirndl and lederhosen. That's considered rude and mocking tradition. That would, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Or gal.
Yeah, and avoid the weekends.
Oh,
Man.
6 million people, most of them on the weekend.
Yeah,
Duh.
most of them. 6 million people.
Yeah. Don't drive there. Parking is basically non-existent. I mean, like there's some, but it's still in the middle of
You gotta
town.
get a hotel.
Get
Someplace
someplace.
you can walk to.
Cab.
Take a short cab.
Train. Like there's a train depot nearby, so you can stay anywhere.
And are you going to get a rental car?
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm going to be drinking. So I don't want to drive anywhere.
Drunk driving laws.
Yeah. They're pretty strict over there.
Yeah.
It would include the scooters and the bicycles.
Okay, so be careful. Don't be.
Yeah, don't be.
Probably anything of the electric sort. Right.
Right. They're gonna if you're inebriated, you're kind of screwed there.
Self-propelled electrics. Wow. But you just want to walk around and enjoy it anyways.
Oh heck yeah. Let's see. Next time we got.
So we got shuffling going
definitely
on. We love shuffling.
Shuffling paperwork here on the hot break.
It's great.
Have a meeting point at the festival for your group. Your phone might die over there. Your battery could just die. And with 6 million people visiting that site, like the cell phone towers are probably going to get pretty full. So you might not even be able to send text messages to your friends reliably. So find a spot, this beer tent.
Right.
Get lost. Like we're gonna meet here.
I suggest going and buying a burner phone when you get there.
Or 4. Yeah. You never know. It's gonna be a whole thing with the international travel and your phone.
Don't even take your phone. Just get a burner phone, and you just log into your email on your burner phone, and bam, you have all your stuff back.
Done.
And then if you lose it, or let's say
somebody steals it,
or the SIM card doesn't work. It's a different SIM card, so your phone might not work over there. But I'm not an international traveler. I'm sure somebody on here. Oh, we've got a caller right now. Hey, hold on.
That'd be cool if we did.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Well, in 3 weeks
we'll have that. We'll have that live show. Yeah, we'll tell you all about it. Let's see. Finding a seat. Those beer tents are gonna fill up pretty quickly. Here's a pro tip. If the table looks full, do a quick count. Because that bench is actually designed for 5 people on a side. So, you can get in there and the place looks full, but if they're a four-top, on either side, squeeze on in. Like, ask them to join. Like, if nobody's there, squeeze on in.
That's right.
And pick somewhere that looks like people are getting ready to leave. They're counting money out. Or like,
I was going to say pick somewhere where it looks really fun, where everybody's having a good time.
The whole place is going to be fun.
Try to get in there.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to these tables. You go to Leavenworth. That's where my Oktoberfest was.
Sure.
So I've been there many years. And you get in there into the big fest hall, and they've got those long tables. So it's not a single table. They're just 100 feet long, and everybody just piles in, and some of them people are just kind of like standing up on the benches and having a good time.
Oh yeah, there's it's live music in the halls, man.
And then you got some older people that are hanging out kind of in the sidelines,
So look for a rowdy bunch who looks like they're gonna leave soon.
There you go.
And then you can steal their seats when they leave, and that's the way to do that one. And God, bring cash. That is the number one. Like if they could teach no more about Oktoberfest, it was quit trying to pay for a credit card. Like, bring cash.
Bring cash.
And yeah, we talked about it's expensive. It's about I think 2 years ago it was like 11 euros for a liter of beer.
Right.
A euro is like 1.5. Like that's like 1.5 times. So
and get euros here.
That's like $30.
Go to your bank.
Or
and get
what would
euros.
that be? $15. It'd be like $15 for a liter of beer at 6%, and you're gonna feel it.
That's what I
again,
pay.
cash
That's what
only.
I pay here.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's about right
Yep.
for stadium. Sure.
No.
Not a liter though.
No, a liter.
It is a liter. That cup in the Oktoberfest is a 1 liter jug.
A liter at Chuckanut is $14, I think.
There you go. Oktoberfest pricing.
Yeah, it's just the world. 100% drunk.
All the way. Yeah, pretty much. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200.
And
You could end up on Puke Hill. There's a grassy knoll
Gross.
that some people will wander off to sleep on or puke on, or I've been caught doing some other things on that particular hill. But it's called Puke Hill.
Puke Hill.
So I wouldn't take a nap there.
No. If you're drunk
It
enough.
doesn't sound safe.
If you're drunk enough.
That's not hygienic.
Cool. Yeah, a lot of things to remember.
So that's the festival in a nutshell. It's a beer fest, but it's kind of like one of the original ones, and if you got to put it on your bucket list of things to do. And I know it's on mine.
One of the cool things that you talked about in there was find a meeting place for your group.
That's right.
Go with people.
Absolutely.
Go with people.
Solo drinking is not
Yeah. I just went there by myself.
Don't be like me.
Just sat there.
Drink alone.
Well, that's why I tell you, you got to look for a live people.
A livelier bunch.
That way I can walk in with just by myself without nothing to
Yeah.
fit right in.
I don't meet strangers, folks. But yeah, the festival, and so yeah, Germany, you got to go to Munich. There are knockoff ones in northern Germany that are pretty reputable. But then there's some stuff you can do over here.
Yep.
There is Leavenworth's got a
Leavenworth,
festival,
Washington.
and we'll put all this stuff in the show notes for you. You can check those sort of things out. There's Tacoma's got one. The McMinimans restaurant chain franchise, they do a festival every year at a couple of their locations.
Puyallup.
Yeah, Puyallup's got a big one at the Puyallup Fairgrounds. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Supposedly the biggest, except for Leavenworth.
Noise. Leavenworth, that's another one that fills up pretty quick. You got tickets for that show.
And you need to get a hotel.
Way in advance, like the day after this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you go to pay, you usually reserve the next year.
Yeah.
Following year. Yeah.
But what about the beer is, we've talked about the festival. Let's talk about the beer. Like, specifically, what do we got going on that sets these beers apart?
Why is Oktoberfest made in this time frame of the year? Why is it made in the fall?
So with the beer so Germany's got a very unique scenario. They had some limestone caves, and they would store their beer in there. So traditionally they would brew up through until the spring. So you would brew a Märzen.
Yep. In March.
Yeah. And that was the last beer of the season. You would brew a bunch of it, and it would sit in those caves until October, which was kind of the start of the brewing. It's into the festival season.
Yep.
And it's
Everybody's
also
done
start to brew.
harvesting.
Yeah, it's time to brew again.
You're out of the field. You're out of the field. And you can start drinking.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to get up with the sun tomorrow.
Right. But it was too hot.
After harvest.
It was too hot during the summertime to brew. So they'd take the summer off of the brewing calendar and they'd store these beers.
Yep.
And this was one of the beers that was the Marzen, then the Fest beer.
Okay.
If it's a Fest beer, it's outside of Munich because only Munich breweries, there's 6 Munich breweries, it can be called Oktoberfest.
Legally.
Legally, and as far as like legally, let's just say legally inside the European Union, because we don't in America we don't recognize that, so we can call something an Oktoberfest or a Kolsch, and screw them. Like champagne, we don't care. Like that's France's. That sounds like France's little problem.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an ego thing, but we don't abide by. There's some regional protections, and one of them is Oktoberfest for the 6 Munich breweries. I do believe there's one just outside Munich that's allowed to use it too, but only Munich breweries, only 6 of them in the festival.
Yeah. Let's talk about the appearance. And why I'm asking is because the appearance has a lot to do with the ingredients. I mean, all of these do, but the first thing you see when you see that Oktoberfest being poured for you is that rich.
Yeah, you've got
gold,
you've got something like a amber, like a golden, a dark golden orange, up to like a lightish red even.
It's more of a red copper.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not copper.
Yeah, it can lean copper.
Yeah.
This one is, let's see, I've got my notes on this one. Shuffle some papers. We're going for 10 SRM on this particular one we're drinking today, and I would say that's probably on the lighter end of that scale. So 10 to, it's probably going to be in the range of like 10 to 12 14. Or 10 to 14 on that.
Yep. That makes it look good, I think.
They are pretty. Pretty.
Is it that color because it's fall? Because when they're drinking it in fall, they want the fall color?
Well, the Vienna malt, the strong Vienna malt backbone, and some Munich malts in there are going to be a little bit of colored malt. Longer boil times traditionally in those continental malts are going to have longer mash and longer boil times, and that's going to darken things up a little bit. You're going to get a little extra Maillard reaction. You're going to make for a little bit darker beer.
Yeah.
So those toasted kind of malts, Vienna and Munich. Some Pilsner in there, maybe some Cara Munichs, like a caramelized Munich malt is going to be appropriate. This one's got a little caramel Munich 60 Lovibund, and I think that's going to be the bulk of the color we're getting from today's beer. It's going to be that 60L Cara Munich.
Yep.
So stewed, toasted malt, but a little caramel conversion in there. So that's dark to gold, deep orange, red. Clarity, good clarity, great clarity, because it's going to be sitting for a long time. Traditionally going to be lagered or cold stored, which is going to make it for a very bright beer. And you're going to get a solid off-white head, big tall boy ahead on there. Unless you got a dirty glass or a mustache, and then of course you're going to lose all your bubbles. Flavor. What do your notes say on flavor there?
Flavor. Well, you got the initial malty sweetness from it, and it's supposed to finish with a moderate dryness. Yours does that. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
It's on the initial malty sweetness. I've got like this light sweet, and then it just goes away till you can taste the malty grains of it.
Like little bread on the finish, but like sweetness up front, gets out of the way. I think it makes room for another.
Kind of creates a complex flavor for that.
Thank you.
Now the hop bitterness should be moderate, so that's the IBUs of what, 20. This one's probably on the low side, I think.
23.
23.
Yeah.
We usually go from a little bit lower than that, 20 to 28.
I tend to say I like some of the more like assertively, hopping. You can have low to none. They're usually well balanced though.
Yeah.
So I can put I like to push the envelope. So if I get a little sweeter, I can also have a little hoppier to balance it.
So now let's talk about where to put the hops in. Now, we don't want it too bitter.
Not too bitter,
So we're not
right?
going to use a lot in the boil at the beginning.
This is it's a pretty economical batch. I only use 2 ounces all day per 5 gallons.
You use 1 ounce bittering?
1 ounce of bittering of Holletower Middlefra.
Hollotowers, yep, that's 1 ounce.
Classic. Sometimes I will adjust that.
5 gallon batch?
5 gallon batch. Per 5 gallons, it's 2 ounces, 1 at 60 minutes, and an ounce at the last 15 minutes.
You copied my recipe?
No.
No.
Recipes aren't trademarked material. Just the names.
So you can adjust that bitterness by saving some of that hop for a little later in the boil, giving you a little bit more of a hop flavor.
And sometimes, you're going to get some of these European hops that are going to come in really, really low.
Yeah.
Maybe the growing season one's so good. So I've had some Holletower that have come in at like 2% alpha, and I've really had to rethink, do I use 6 ounces of this to get the same punch?
Because you get a little flavor from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of flavor disappears for your boil additions. Your 60-minute additions, there's not much on the aroma.
Right, no.
Yeah.
But when you're using a 2%.
Sure.
Yeah. I
like,
really got to pile this in there.
Yeah, so
And now
I save those for late editions.
Vegetation and all that.
Save them for late editions. I might do like a pearl or something like that for bittering, or maybe a clean, something clean.
Right.
Mouthfeel, medium body, crispy, with medium carbonation, so not too prickly on the tongue.
Right.
But there's a lot of flavors going on. Smooth, I guess the word is smooth. I think that's one of the hallmarks of these beers. It should just drink really easily. Little heart attack. Almost thought we lost the feed today. About the time I say something cool,
Really good, and then it dies.
Recording dies, yeah.
Or my dog barks. But that's a good sound effect.
Yeah, so impressions, I would say smooth, clean, and rich.
Overall impression is, a very smooth, rich beer. It's got that, it's got that forward sweetness to it a little bit,
But not cloying.
Not cloying, because it's got the medium dryness and that back bite to it. Yeah. It's good.
I like it.
It's good. Good malt character. Classy malt, style beer. German, where the best beers come from.
Just ask them.
Yeah.
Just
Ask the German. Yeah. Really good overall.
Well, thank you. This one, a version of this beer is available in as a kit, as an extract brewer if you're just getting started, or intermediate or advanced brewer as an all grain kit. You want to jump into the beer scene you can jump in with your own Oktoberfest. You can brew it year round. This is a great time to brew it because it's starting to cool off. So strict temperature controls for lagers are a little easier right now, right?
Yep. Lager it.
Yeah, so if you want some more information, check that one out on the website, nwbrewers.com/products.
Right.
And you can check out, I've got the full recipes you can download today and take a look at this beer.
As a matter of fact, we're going to go let our sponsor pay our bills.
Gotta go see a word from Northwest Brewer Supply.
Right on.
In the home brewing system, one question is asked more than any other. In Burlington, the dedicated brewers who answer this question are members of an elite squad known as the Special Brewers Unit. These are their stories.
Mazda Man, why homebrew your own beer?
Bogeys suck.
Are you talking about golf?
Golf? No, I'm talking about the kind of beer you drink off the cart at the 19th hole. Homebrew, because birdie juice can be brewed. Trust Northwest Brewer Supply to help make every brew a hole-in-one.
A couple of years ago, Trevor and I got on a lager kick. I think we must have brewed like 10 lagers in a row. For those of you who don't know, Trevor was the former owner at Northwest Brewer Supply, and I got to work with him for 8 years before taking over. One of the perks of that job, it's our fermenting chamber. It's not a brag, but one of them is a 7-foot-long chest freezer. And I don't know what the cubic inches on that particular model is, but I think it would be easier to measure that in terms of how many bodies you can store. I apologize for the terrible joke. I don't think we need to discuss how many bodies are in my freezer. I'm not trying to end up on a true crime podcast here. enough digressions. Tangential thinking will get us nowhere. Will get us at nowhere, anywhere, and back. But as I mentioned, we have a lot of capacity to brew lagers year-round. The ancient tradition of brewing for only 9 months of the year just won't do. So this chest freezer really allows us to ferment any beer at any time. One of the standouts from that season, and the one that we're going to delving into today, is the Harvest Lager. And Andrew, I don't know if you ever got to taste this one. I'll brew this one up again and bring it in, sort of a callback to it. But it came out really good. When Trevor and I put our heads together, we were looking for a malt forward beer, something that would keep us going when the Oktoberfest ran out. We did hit a little bit of a snag. Trevor mentioned he wanted to add a pound of Beechwood smoked malt. I've always been a fan of smoked malt beers, smoked porters, Rausch beers, but I've had more than one of them that was just too much smoke. I was more than a little gun shy about this beer initially. I mean, I've had some smoked porters that were so smoky they tasted like the bottom of an ashtray. So this memory just makes me a little apprehensive about potential smoking. You've had that. You probably shared that experience too. A little cherry or a little peat goes a really long way. We were talking about, or we mentioned a Scotch ale earlier. My Scotch ale's got a little bit of peat malt in it, and I know it's not appropriate for the style, but at this point I don't care. That beer sells really, really well, so I kind of have to go with it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're putting together this beer, and I knew that Munich malt was going to help with some of the backbone on this. That malty sweetness could stand up to the smoke in ways that I knew Pilsner couldn't do. And at some point somebody said, "What about rye?" And we knew where we were going. We instantly knew where we were going. We had a sweet component with the Munich malt. Rye is going to give us a little bit of little spicy character, and we're not like a peppercorn, but it's definitely like an earthy, spicy kind of like thing. Like you can only call it spice,
right?
Yeah, really like it too. We knew we were onto something sweet and spicy to tame that smokiness. I'm gonna start drooling on something really expensive looking here in the studio right about now.
Just a cup holder.
I
gave you 2 cup holders. One.
Oh, good. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good. It's good. One for the drool. I'll just put that one right here. Oh, look, it works. We did settle on a red beer, the red end of the spectrum for this beer, targeting about 18 SRM, with a little bit of debittered carafa and chocolate rye.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And you're making it, and it's a lager.
It is a lager. Yep. The Harvest Lager, we called it.
Good.
But we figured without the husk we weren't going to get we'd get all the color, but none of the roastiness. I didn't think the roast character was going to fit with the profile.
Right.
So yeah, carafa and a little chocolate rye. Like, that makes sense. We got some other rye in there.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, we still wanted something that was going to get out of the way and make room for another sip. So we covered the malt, got that question settled, and Trevor at that time opened up with Centennial for bittering. Now at that point in time, he was really favoring like lower IBU beers. That's just so we drank a lot of those, and fantastic options. Beer flavored beer tastes really, really good. But I was a little shocked, like coming out of the gate with a little heavier punch. And I'm real glad he did. 35 IBUs, I think it was a perfect, that's like pale ale category. Yep. Yeah, I think right in there was, just enough to like carry that smoke.
Right.
Right.
So it's a bit bigger, bit more bitter than the Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
The fest,
we were looking for definitely. I was happy to have something with a little more bite.
Yeah.
I'm a hophead still.
A lot of people are hopheads, and I've tasted some versions of Oktoberfest that are, what would you consider a hoppy red kind of a?
Right. Do you remember we brewed a batch with Kevin Smith or Kevin Pierce? Sorry, Kevin Pierce. Kevin Smith would be fun. If Kevin Smith, if you're listening, and you want to brew a batch of beer, call me.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll make that happen, bro. We brewed with Kevin Pierce at Anacortes Brewery.
He's too.
Remember we did the Amertzen?
The American?
collaboration with them. That was on tap for a little bit with the club.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool beer. And it was a hoppy Märzen.
Yeah. Maybe that's where my memories are coming from.
Probably 2014
Yeah.
and beyond. Gosh, does that make it
we
sound
did
old
10 years
or
ago?
what? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. How can we be sitting here talking 10 years ago?
Right? I think it could have been cooler. Should have.
Should have been.
A lot of things I should have done 10 years ago.
I know. Where would we be now?
Yeah. What were we talking? We were talking about hops and the harvest
about your
lager.
beer.
Yeah. The harvest lager. hopping.
And this is your one of your kits at the
This
store?
one is coming out. Yes, it's coming out. By the time this broadcast, we will have it available as a kit for all grain and extract. I think I got notes on that about that price point would be like 32 and 43 for all grain and extract for those kits. But yeah, those you're gonna love this beer. We did decide to go with Hallertauer Mittelfruit.
Yep.
Funny thing about Hallertauer, not a lot of recipes just say Hallertauer. Turns out Hallertauer is the region and not the hop. So Mittelfruit, Hallertauer Mittelfruit is the species. Mittelfruit is the species.
Okay.
Hallertauer is just where it's grown.
All right.
That's like saying I want some this beer has Yakima hops.
Oh my gosh. And there's so many different varieties. Right? So how do you have to order?
So you would if I see Hallertauer on the list, I know that's going to be Mittelfruit because that is kind of like the default. That's like it's arguably the best aroma hop ever.
Yeah, and it's a low alpha.
Low alpha, it's definitely aroma capable. It's one of those, they call them noble hops, but noble, that's kind of like a marketing. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's more, jerk off language, to sell shit.
Because it comes from Europe.
But yeah, but it is a classically
Europe,
delicious aroma hop. I think, it's almost kind of like the default hop in your mind. Like, you don't know shit about beer.
Right.
You hear the word hop, and as you're being told what those flavors are, the mental picture you concoct in your brain is probably closer to Hallertauer, and just it's like the default.
Right. When I designed the
Babies know what it is.
When I designed the test beer to test the different malts at Skagit Valley Malting, I used Hallertau. Mm-hmm. And I used 1 ounce of Hallertau in the boil. That's it.
That's right. You were in on the ground floor with Skagit Valley Malting.
Yeah, I was a founder.
Yeah.
And I designed a beer that just showcased the flavor of that malt.
And I'm pretty sure they used that beer throughout.
They did.
Yeah. Forever.
Yep.
I remember talking to Bob, like he never deviated from that. Bob Rock, yep. No, we got to get him on the show.
We will.
Yeah.
He's he's a wealth of knowledge.
Oh God, if that guy stops talking about
anything,
beer nerd shit, just stop what you're doing, bend over, put your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye.
All we have to do is just give him a microphone. I mean,
probably. I think we'll get a third one. Yeah, and just let it rip. Yep. It's the easiest show to write ever.
Hey, I'll give him a mic. I could just produce.
Okay, so back to this beer. So now we got malts figured out. We've got hops figured out.
Water.
Water.
Low sulfate water.
We got pretty low. We got pretty soft water here in the valley. Yeah. So I'm lazy. I'm a lazy brewer. So I don't often faff with my water, or I intend to and completely friggin' forget on brew day to do it.
Right.
So the intent was there, the give a shit was there.
But brewing with what we get runoff water. We get reservoir water.
We are in a reservoir. It's rain and snow melt.
Runoff.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's above ground.
It's not recycled. It's not any kind of recycled water. It's all just.
It doesn't
chlorinated.
We don't have a ton of calcium.
Right.
It's low chloramine. Pretty tasty water.
Low chlorine.
Yeah. Right. And folks, if you do have chloramine chloramine or water,
do you use a filter?
The best way to deal with chloramine is actually Camden tablets. One Camden tablet, or pelletized potassium metabisulfite, or sometimes sodium metabisulfite. But one tablet will treat 20 gallons in 15 minutes.
Wait.
It literally drives off chloramine.
What about Reinheitsgebot?
Right. We're gonna do a show on Ryan Heinz
We've just
and
added an ingredient.
I'm gonna wipe my butt with Ryan Heinz because I don't believe it. I don't believe in the purity thing for a minute.
Well,
and I'm gonna tell you
it's
all about it on a future show.
Money.
Shh, no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. But it's coming, folks.
So we decided we were going to go with back to the beer, like going to wrap this segment. I swear to God, we're going to get to the end of it. You're going to hear all about it. But we got to the end of this beer. We needed a yeast. We decided to go with 2124 from Y Yeast. Definitely the world's most popular yeast lager strain.
Lager yeast, yeah.
Yeah, like globally, on a global scale.
Is it easy to
2124
use?
Totally easy to use.
What temperature do you ferment
This
at?
one, we fermented this. We can ferment this up to 61 ambient, which would get us north of around about 64, which is the maximum.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty forgiving yeast.
Yeah.
75% attenuation.
That's
It's gonna leave it
attainable.
up.
I mean, yeah. It's
Great. Similar performance to like your 2112 American lager strains or some of those. So it's a forgiving strain. It's a workhorse.
Yeah.
Really great. And talk about performance. When this beer came out, it was as near perfect as possible. Like everything we wanted to balance that smokiness. We had the smokiness, the sweetness, the spice profile. The color was a perfect reddish brown that matched the season. This beer, if bacon could be a beer, the Harvest Lager was it. So check that out. That's going to be on our seasonal kit page on the website.
Bacon beer?
The Harvest Lager.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, we should just call it bacon beer.
Bacon beer.
Yeah.
Bacon
but
lager beer.
it was everything that bacon was good at in a beer. Fantastic.
Who doesn't love bacon?
Perfect fall
Who doesn't
beer.
love beer?
Yeah, right. Nobody listening to this show, like it's, we don't have to worry about it like that.
In the home brewing system, one question is asked more than any other. In Burlington, the dedicated brewers who answer this question are members of an elite squad known as the Special Brewers Unit. These are their stories.
Mazda Man, why homebrew your own beer?
Bogeys suck.
Are you talking about golf?
Golf? No, I'm talking about the kind of beer you drink off the cart at the 19th hole. Homebrew, because birdie juice can be brewed. Trust Northwest Brewers Supply to help make every brew a hole-in-one.
So if you're getting thirsty, if you're sitting at home drooling right now and you want to get your hands on this kit, that's it. You can check it out at nwbrewers.com/seasonal beer kits. And that'll take you to it. There'll be there'll be a banner on the homepage called the Harvest Lager. So check that one out. Available as a kit for all grain for $32.99 and as an extract $43.99 for that one. You can take it home, brew it yourself, and get yourself some of your own bacon that should be beer that should be called bacon. Hey Andrew, that was a pretty fun episode.
Yeah, I know, right? But you want to know what I'm even more excited about?
What's that?
Fresh hop season is here.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. There's nothing like brewing with hops right off the vine.
Oh, absolutely. Next week we're diving into the world of fresh hopping
We'll be talking about how to source fresh hops here in the Pacific Northwest.
and sharing tips and incorporating them into your home brews for that unmatched flavor and aroma. So don't miss out. Tune in next week for an episode filled to the top of the kettle with hoppy goodness.
It's gonna be fresher than a pair of wool socks on a fall day.
Woo, see you then.
See you guys then.